Hi, I'm Melissa and I've been a tutor on ITALKI since January of 2020, and I've also taken several classes in French on the platform. I do have an entire playlist of my French learning journey if you're interested. Yes, 30 seconds in and I'm already plugging my own stuff. But today I'm giving you my updated review of ITALKI. I made one a while ago. I wasn't expecting people to actually see it, but things have changed. And I'm here to give you my honest opinions on ITALKI from both a teacher and a student perspective. Feel free to let me know what you think of ITALKI in the comments below. The first thing that I want to talk about is ITALKI as a platform. So ITALKI itself, before I get into anything else. And if you aren't familiar with ITALKI, it's a language learning marketplace that connects teachers with students and students with teachers. There are over 10,000 teachers on the platform teaching so many different languages, pretty much any language you could possibly imagine. Because there's so many different teachers for so many different languages, it's easy to find one that works for your schedule, for your price point, for your learning needs. You're gonna be able to find a teacher that works for you. But something to keep in mind is there's two different teacher types that you're gonna find on ITALKI. There's community tutors and professional teachers. So community tutors is what I am. And basically it's people who may or may not have any formal teaching training, who are there to still help you. Usually their prices are a little bit less than professional teachers. Usually it starts at like $4 versus professional teachers start at like $8. But professional teachers do have a certificate, formal teaching experience, schooling, education on being a good teacher. So it is worth the extra price. But there are some community tutors who also have that same sort of training as well. You just have to read everyone's profile and figure out which one works for you. If you're looking for a teacher that gives more informal lessons, conversation practice type lessons, and you yourself have a bit more of a handle on your target language, look for community tutors if that's kind of the vibe you're going for. But if you're looking for a really well drawn out lesson plan, structured lessons, someone that's going to be able to give you a lot of knowledge when it comes to grammar rules, grammar structures, different things like that, then definitely look more towards professional teachers. But community tutors also do structured lessons. Like for example, I do structured lesson types. It's not gonna be the same thing you're gonna get with a professional teacher, but it's my version of it. So if you're looking for a teacher on ITALKI, watch their video, read through their whole profile. Don't skip out on that. And there are over 5 million learners on ITALKI, so if you are a teacher or a tutor, you know that you'll have a steady stream of students coming to your profile. But a big part of making sure that you have a steady amount of students actually booking with you is making sure that you have a really well set up profile. I have an entire video on how to do that, as well as blog posts. So I'll link all of that in the description bar with all of my tips so that you can make sure that your profile is set up well, because so far it seems to be working for me, so yay. Another great thing that I love about ITALKI's platform is that they do offer 3 trial lessons for people just starting out. So usually teachers will set their trial lesson prices to be a little bit cheaper, so you can then try out 3 different teachers, kind of see who you work best with. And I think that that's a fantastic way to try different people out, try different learning styles, just kind of get to know the platform a little bit. So I definitely recommend taking advantage of that. If you're interested in ITALKI, it's a great way to kind of get started. I love ITALKI's website. I love their app. They're both easy to use. They're beautiful. One of my favorite things is that as a teacher, I can adjust my schedule from within the app. So if I ever remember anything in the middle of the day, I don't need to be at my computer to change my teaching schedule. So that has helped me in so many different situations. And then as a student, it's also really nice to, at any time, be able to go into the app and book a lesson, because sometimes I'll randomly remember, yeah, I've been slacking on my language learning journey recently. And then if it's 3 a.m. when I've remembered that, I don't have to get up out of bed, go over to my computer in order to book a lesson. I can just do it from my phone and then have a lesson for like the next day or whenever I want it for. So that is a really nice thing. I love that they do have an app that's like easy to use. One of the cool things about ITALKI as well is that they have their community. It is on their app. I don't know if they put it on the website yet. So if you aren't able to afford an ITALKI lesson at the moment, but you do have questions about your target language, or you need some insight on something, or you need corrections or whatever, there is a community that you can take advantage of without actually having to pay for lessons. So there is that. Also, a big part of ITALKI is the fact that they have ITALKI Classroom. So just kind of like Skype or Zoom or Google Hangouts, they do have their own built-in video chat software. And I haven't had any issues with it. Many people have had many issues with it, and they're actually not even able to really use it from what I've heard. But for me, it's been all good. With most of my students though, I do use Skype. I use ITALKI Classroom maybe once per week, and it's fine, it works. So if you don't have a preference for what you video call with and you just want to keep it simple, it can all just be done within the app or the website. So now on to all of my favorite things about ITALKI, why I like it so much. I will get to the juicier stuff in a minute, but I think it's important that I do mention all of this. ITALKI has been my favorite source of like consistent income that I think I've ever had. I've made friends through ITALKI. Some of my students have even found me on YouTube. Hi. I have had some of the most interesting and inspiring conversations of my entire life because of ITALKI. And it's allowed me to do one of my favorite things ever, which is connect with people and be able to, I guess, kind of experience like different cultures through the internet. And especially during this time when we haven't really been able to do that, like actually go out and experience different people and cultures and perspectives. So it has been like the most refreshing thing over this past year. It's easy to use. It allows me to be completely in charge of my own schedule. I made pretty amazing strides in my French journey with the tutors that I had on ITALKI. I'm in charge of what lessons I want to take, what teaching style I want to go for with the teachers that I book with. I'm also able to be in charge of my own teaching style and my own lesson types. And as a student, I can find some really kind of cheap lessons with incredible tutors that I would probably never be able to work with otherwise because they live on the other side of the world. All in all, at the end of the day, I'm very thankful for ITALKI. But with that being said, I want to talk about where things can go wrong on the platform and where they've gone wrong for me. Sounds so juicy. So where it can go wrong is with the people. Now, most of the people that I've met through ITALKI and most of the students that I've had are amazing, but every once in a while there's a bad egg that kind of ruins it. And that's the case with everything. But I said in my previous review of ITALKI that the biggest issue with the platform is finding the right fit. So making sure that as a student you find the right teacher for your learning style, and then also as a teacher making sure that you're getting in the right students for your teaching style, students that will actually be able to benefit from what you can give them. And ITALKI does give you lots of options in how to like narrow your search as a student. So if you're looking for a community tutor who is at a certain price point, who is from the UK because you want to learn from someone who speaks English in a British accent, like you can narrow all of that down so easily, and I think that's amazing. And then as a tutor, they do really set you up for success because they do kind of promote that you should be asking your students questions before they even like book their lesson with you to make sure that you're both on the same page. So ITALKI does really set you up for success with that on both sides. But the issue is when every once in a while there's someone who very obviously like didn't read your teacher profile, didn't watch your video, whatever, and books a lesson with you or wants to book a lesson with you. I've had people like lie to me. For example, one time I was messaging back and forth with someone and they were like, yeah, I've been learning English for 15 years. Like I just want conversation practice to like freshen it up because of blah, 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 blah. And then I get on the Skype call and it's their child. They're like, oh, you're gonna be teaching my child. And I'm like, I did not sign up for this, thank you. But those situations, as awkward as they are, when people kind of just don't, like I said in the last video, people ask me for test prep all the time, even though I like explicitly say that I don't do test prep because I'm not certified. But yeah, those situations come up, but like all in all, it is on the teacher's shoulders to make sure that the student has clear expectations. If the student lies, yeah, that's awkward. It's really awkward, but you can handle it. It's never been the end of the world. I've never had anyone get like angry or belligerent with me. It's just been a few awkward situations, but I think that that's bound to come in anything, any job, anything where you're interacting with people, especially when there's a language barrier. Like that is another added thing on top of it. Like there have been awkward interactions with people because they don't know what they're saying, and then you have to explain to them, hey, here's what you just said, here's what it means, I know you didn't mean that, and then they get embarrassed and you have to like reassure them. It happens, it's so fine. But now that I've told you all of the problems that you can run into, I'm gonna tell you how to fix them. I'm just the best, oh my gosh. Lesson 1 of how to avoid problems on ITALKI. Communicate. Lesson over. No, but for real, as a tutor, as a teacher, it's on you to communicate. As a student, communicate as best as you can. And don't lie, basically. Just please be honest, be upfront. Read your teacher's profile. Watch their intro video. If they say that there are certain types of lessons that they don't do, don't ask them if they do it. No, you can. You can reach out to people and be like, hey, is this something that you do? Whatever. Like, you feel free to reach out. But don't get angry when they say that they don't. Teachers, have a solid idea of what it is exactly that you can and can't do as a teacher. I'm gonna bring it up again. I know I don't do test prep. I will not do test prep. I will not help with test prep because I know that my student would get nothing out of it because I have nothing to give. So yeah, just have a clear understanding. Like even if you're a tutor and you need to kind of write down a list because you aren't 100% sure, just think of, if you're a language learner yourself, like what are all of the things that you might need to learn as a language learner? And then figure out, is this something that I can teach? And go through all of it and be like, yes, no, yes, no. No maybes, you need to decide yes or no. It's fun to challenge yourself sometimes, but you want to make sure that you're like giving people their money's worth. So yeah, just keep it clear. But yeah, in general, communication, clear communication, especially from the teacher's end, is going to help you avoid like most problems. And then the student being honest. Woo, yay. So general pros and cons, just to kind of like sum up a lot of things. One of the pros is the cancellation policy. It helps protect both the teacher and the student. I find that it's very fair. Another pro is the people, the platform itself, and the amount of teachers and students on the platform. It's a very busy, popular platform. All fantastic things. The cons include some of the people, but that's every once in a while. I've only had like a few bad experiences out of a lot of students, so we're good. And I think that some of that has to do with the fact that I post ITALKI content on YouTube. Yeah, anyway, now I'm gonna get into some frequently asked questions. These are the questions I get on all of my ITALKI related videos. So I'm just gonna go through them really quick, just in case it's a question you have. But if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them below. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. The one that I get the most often is, I'm trying to be a teacher for blank language. Do you know when they will open up slots? No, I do not know when they're going to open up slots. I wish I did, but you just have to check back every Monday. I don't have any extra knowledge. I'm not like on their team. I just make YouTube videos about it. I know as much as you do when it comes to that. How to create lesson plans / do you need to create lesson plans? There are a ton of free resources online. I will link some of my favorite ESL resources in the description bar, but there's a lot of stuff online. You just kind of have to search for it a little bit, but I'll leave some resources. And yes, you do need to create lesson plans. ITALKI does not have pre-made like lesson plans for you. You have to make them up on your own. And just as a little side note, I like to have fun with it. Like I like to use YouTube videos, movie clips, TED Talks, articles, things like that. I don't like to just go with worksheets, so feel free to like be creative with it. If you have to create lesson plans anyway, might as well have fun with it and make it like really personal to you and your teaching style. Another question I get a lot is, how fluent do I need to be a teacher? C2 or above. Done. That's it. And then the final questions I get a lot are about like money. So does ITALKI take a fee for teachers? And then also, how do taxes work? ITALKI does take 15%. I just keep that in mind when I'm setting my prices, and then you do still have to pay taxes, but it's just according to your country. You're considered self-employed, so you have to keep track of your own income. You won't get like any sort of tax form or anything from ITALKI. It's like all on you. And I do have a video all about like money stuff when it comes to ITALKI. I'll also link that. I'm just gonna link like everything in the description. And the last question is, do I recommend ITALKI? And yes, I do recommend ITALKI. If you found this video helpful in any way, please feel free to like and subscribe and hit the bell. All of those things really do help me out. Also, feel free to comment below if you have any questions whatsoever about ITALKI, and also let me know your experience if you've already been a student or a teacher on ITALKI. What do you think about it? What was your experience like? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching my second ever ITALKI review. Thank you so much for the love on the first one. It's like my best performing video, which I wasn't expecting, but it is kind of cool. I don't know. I'm happy about it. But yeah, cheers to 1 year on ITALKI as a teacher, about 6 months on ITALKI as a student, and to many more months and many more years on ITALKI. And maybe this will be your first year on ITALKI, so cheers to that. And I will see you next week. All right, bye.